The Victorian Human Rights Commission's purpose is to protect and to promote human rights and to work with our human rights laws in Victoria to try and create a community that's inclusive and respectful of diversity and is fair and safe. And despite those laws being in place and working to some extent quite well, we still find that there's a prevalence of hate conduct, hate speech and hate crime in our community, and it is directed toward particular groups, particular racial and religious groups, members of our LGBTIQ community, as well as there's a lot of online hate toward women, people with disability, and so we've still got work to do. And the areas that the Commission focus firstly is on education, and so trying to prevent hate conduct and hate speech from occurring in the first place. And we work with communities so that they understand that they've got rights under our laws, but also we work with people that have obligations, whether they're employers, universities, schools, people providing services, that they actually have obligations under our laws to create safe and inclusive spaces for people. So that's education. The other area is we take complaints, and this is really important for the community to know about, that we provide a safe place ourselves for people to come to and report incidences of racism as well as other forms of hate conduct and hate speech. And we also provide dispute resolution for people. So where we can find a respondent, we are able to bring parties together if they agree to do this in order to resolve a matter. Even if we can't resolve a matter, we still really appreciate people coming to us to report hate conduct and hate speech, because that helps to inform all of our other work, our advocacy work and our research work, whether we investigate matters. So that's also really helpful, even if someone doesn't want to go through a dispute resolution process. So the other area that we have focused some work on when it comes to hate is our research and advocacy work. And so we're always trying to make sure the laws that we regulate are as good as they can be. And certainly in the vilification area, we've been seeking an improvement to those laws. We have a really good success rate when it comes to our dispute resolution function. So when people do make the effort to go through our service, then they tend to get really good outcomes. And that can range from an apology through to compensation, through to a systemic change in practice. So for example, an employer might roll out training or might update policies and procedures to take into account the fact that somebody has been impacted by a discriminatory comment or behaviour or other incident that's happened, for example, in the workplace. And I'll give you some examples. We've had a complainant recently that alleged that a newspaper published comments that were highly offensive to the Jewish community. And it was comments that were disparaging toward Jewish businesses and community figures. We were able, through a conciliation of that matter, to resolve it and to also provide the complainant with an apology. We also have had other examples where someone might have been racially vilified at work, co-workers referring to someone in a disparaging way. Sometimes the respondent is just unaware of the impact that they're having, and they may think it's just a joke. That tends to be the response sometimes that people have, but they don't realise the impact that they're having and the harm that's being caused. And sometimes through a conciliation process, that people can suddenly, the penny can drop and they can become a lot more aware. But even if people don't change their attitudes, they do change their behaviours, because they realise going through a process like this that it's against the law and that there are consequences. And so we hold people to account in that regard. And often there is a compensation element as well as other potential changes. And we even get complaints where, neighbours can be racially vilifying their other neighbours, and those sorts of matters are particularly concerning because someone wants to feel safe in their own home, and in those instances we are also able to address that and make sure that sort of behaviour stops. So there's lots of different examples, but we do get good outcomes, and they, as I said, can range from apologies to compensation through to changes in practice, but most importantly, the conduct ceasing.